Now we are going to start with a topic called as hypothesis testing. So last lecture I explained you what is hypothesis, correct? So hypothesis is nothing but it is an educated guess. What do you mean by educated guess? You are not guessing the things randomly. You are making a guess based on some data that you have observed. Okay? Now hypothesis has to be tested. So how is hypothesis tested? Either you conduct interviews, you collect questionnaires, or you conduct some experiments. Remember the example that I gave you for experimental group and control group? Yes? So same example you can take over here. Now hypothesis testing is a statistical test to check if hypothesis is true based on the available data. You have conducted the experiments, you have the data ready with you. Now whether that data makes sense and does that data tell you that okay, according to this data my hypothesis is true or the hypothesis is false. So if the hypothesis is true, I'll accept the hypothesis, and otherwise I'll reject it or I will not accept it. Okay. Now how is hypothesis testing performed? There are many tests for hypothesis testing. One of the tests is t-test. Okay. T-test is a popular statistical test to make inferences about single means or inferences about two means or variances to check if two groups means are statistically different from each other, where the sample size is less than 30 and the standard deviation is unknown. Now I am assuming that you already know the concept of standard deviation, which was covered in earlier lectures. Okay. Now what are the examples where I can use a t-test? Let us consider different examples for this. Okay. Very first example. I am trying to say that the mean age of the population, mean means what? Average. Okay. The average age of the population is 30 years. So that is my null hypothesis. So you can see over here, null hypothesis, right? What is my alternative hypothesis? Alternative hypothesis always means generally the opposite. So the mean age of the given sample is not 30. Okay, ये एक हुआ. Okay, I am dealing with single means. Sometimes you will deal with two means. Instead of dealing with a single mean, you may deal with two means. Sometimes you may deal with two different groups. So I have experimental group, I have control group. Okay. Sometimes you can perform paired t-test also. Now what is paired t-test? You want to check the before and after scenario with the same people. So for example, some pharmaceutical drug trial is going on, and it is a BP medication. Okay, so they check the patient's blood pressure before giving the medication and after giving the medication. So it will be measurement before the medication is given and the measurement after the medication is given. This example is called as paired t-test. Clear on this? Now, if you can see the program, we are using the file which is called as ages.csv, and we are trying to calculate the mean. Okay. What are we trying to check? We are trying to perform the t-test. Okay. Is it one t-test or two t-test? It is one t-test. Only one mean is verified, correct? And what are we verifying? The mean of the ages with our standard value 30. How did I decide my standard value 30? It is given in my hypothesis. Okay, it is given in my hypothesis. Now it will calculate the p-values. It will calculate which values? P-values. P-values are calculated, and how do I interpret the p-values? This part is very critical. Pay attention very carefully. P-values को analyze करना पड़ता है hypothesis reject करने के लिए या accept करने के लिए. So your p-value is, if it is less than 0.05, okay, 0.05 is nothing but it is your alpha. It is nothing but it is your alpha. Understanding? You must have studied this in RIC. Okay. So if the p-value is less than 0.05, then we reject the null hypothesis. Else we have to accept the null hypothesis. That is, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. This is a double negation. फेल भी है, रिजेक्ट भी है, इसीलिए उसका मतलब होता है एक्सेप्ट कर लो. ओके, यहाँ पे पी वैल्यू क्या है? 0.01. Is 0.01 less than 0.05? Yes. So we are rejecting the null hypothesis. Now quickly tell me, if I am rejecting the null hypothesis, which hypothesis am I going to accept? The alternate hypothesis. I'll say that now the alternate hypothesis is true. The mean age of the sample is not 30. Understood? Now there's another test similar to this, which again you can perform to check if two variables are significantly different from each other. Now whenever these variables are categorical, we want to check whether these variables are different from each other or no. So let us take some examples of chi-square test. Okay, let us continue. So basically I was telling you the examples of chi-square test. So consider that there's a shopkeeper who is trying to decide whether he should open the shops in standalone locations or he should open the shops inside a mall. So the average distribution value will be considered as 50-50. Okay, and his research is suggesting that the shops in the standalone location will fare much better as compared to the shops in the mall. So he considers, why don't we go for 60-40, 60 shops in standalone location, 40 shops in malls, correct? So he needs to figure out, doing this will make any difference or no, or how significant the things are different from each other location wise now, because now the one location is inside a mall and second location is a standalone location. Okay, so जब भी ऐसे आपके variables categorical होते हैं, you can perform chi-square test. Okay, now let us consider the example that is given over here. They have considered grades of the student, and the second variable that they have considered is the gender, that is male and female. You can see the distribution is same, 0.5, 0.5, and here how many grades are there? 5 grades are there, and the distribution is again equal, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2 and 0.2, correct? So what are we basically trying to do is, we are trying to calculate our chi-square value. So how is chi-square value calculated? Observed value minus the expected value raised to 2 divided by the expected value, and obviously we take the summation of all these things. Okay, once the value is calculated, we have calculated chi-square value and we have a critical value. Okay, critical value, from where we will get it? We will get it from the chi-square table. Critical value we will get it from the chi-square table. Okay, now if the calculated chi-square value, okay, the value that I have calculated over here, this value, okay, if it is greater than or equal to the critical value, H0 is accepted, otherwise H0 is rejected. This is something that you will remember. Okay, now the next important concept is overfitting and underfitting. Now whenever we are training our models, we are using data sets to train our models. So you must be aware of some terms like training data set and testing data set. Are you aware about these terms? Yes, no? No, okay. See, whenever you are using any AI related algorithm or any model, whatever your data set is there, you divide the data into 2 parts. Now not necessary that both the parts should be equal, okay, you can have 60-40 ratio also. So basically ना एक data set होता है जो training data set होता है. ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट यूज करके आप मॉडल को ट्रेन करते हो, ऑब्वियसली इसीलिए उसको ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट कहा जाता है. अभी मॉडल ट्रेन हो जाता है, फिर आपको चेक करना है कि उस मॉडल का एक्यूरेसी कितना है. So now testing data set comes into picture, and using testing data set you try to check whether your model is nicely developed or there are some lacunas, there are some drawbacks, or the model is not able to work properly, the model is not able to classify the data properly. Whatever model you have made, so you try to check the accuracy of that model using a testing data set. Clear है? आपके पास जितना भी डेटा है उसको ही आप ये दो डेटा सेट्स में डिवाइड करोगे. मॉडल को ट्रेन करने के लिए ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट यूज करोगे एंड बाद में उसको टेस्ट करने के लिए टेस्टिंग डेटा सेट यूज करोगे. क्लियर हुआ कंसेप्ट? ओके. नाउ ओवरफिटिंग एंड अंडरफिटिंग क्या होता है? They refer to the deficiencies that the model's performance might suffer. आपका मॉडल अगर ओवरफिटिंग हुआ तो भी प्रॉब्लम होता है, आपका मॉडल अगर अंडरफिटिंग हुआ तो भी प्रॉब्लम होता है. अभी ओवरफिटिंग का मतलब क्या? If you can see the figures which are given over here, the leftmost side and the rightmost side figure, they show the underfitting and the overfitting. Overfitting में the model is capturing so much details of the data that it is capturing the noise also. Okay, वो इतना fit हो रहा है data को, your algorithm fits the data very well. Okay, so the model is trained with so much data that it starts learning from the noise and inaccuracies in the data entries also. अभी जब मॉडल ओवरफिट हो जाता है देन बाद में वो अच्छे से कैटेगराइज नहीं कर पाता है, बिकॉज इट हैज लर्न फ्रॉम द नॉइज ऑल्सो, सो इट इज अनेबल टू कैटेगराइज द थिंग्स प्रॉपरली लेटर ऑन. अंडरफिटिंग में क्या होता है? द अल्गोरिदम कैन नॉट कैप्चर द ट्रेंड ऑफ द डेटा ओनली. सो एज यू कैन सी ओवर हियर, डेटा का जो ट्रेंड है वो कैप्चर ही नहीं हो पा रहा है. इट इज मिसिंग आउट सो मेनी ऑफ द डेटा पॉइंट्स. करेक्ट? यहाँ पे ऑलमोस्ट सारे डेटा पॉइंट्स कवर हो रहे थे, बट ऑलमोस्ट सारे कवर हो रहे थे तो ये ओवरफिटिंग हो गया. टू मच डिटेल कैप्चर कर रहा है वो. यहाँ पे कुछ भी कैप्चर नहीं कर रहा है एंड ट्रेंड भी कैप्चर नहीं कर पा रहा है. ओके, दिस इज नॉट हाउ योर डेटा इज मूविंग. सो अंडरफिटिंग occurs when the model or the algorithm does not fit the data well enough. It is often the result of excessive simple model and it destroys the accuracy of the model. See, you always have to have a trade-off between accuracy and simplicity of the model. Your model is overly complicated, it will be very accurate, but फिर वो बहुत complex model हो जाएगा. तो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा complex model भी नहीं चाहिए. अगर मैंने एक्यूरेसी को छोड़ ही दिया, मैंने बोला मुझे सिर्फ सिंपल मॉडल चाहिए, then accuracy will suffer. Again, that is not something that you want. So you need to have a good balance between the simplicity of the model and the accuracy of the model. You are getting it? अभी just right मतलब क्या है? The algorithm or the model is able to capture the trend of the data. ओके, डेटा कैसे मूव हो रहा है उसका ट्रेंड इज कैप्चर्ड परफेक्टली. ना ओवरफिटेड है ना अंडरफिटेड है, इट इज अ परफेक्ट फिट. यू आर गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? आई गिव यू अ वेरी लेमैन एग्जाम्पल फॉर दिस. ओके, नॉट रिलेटेड टू डेटा साइंस एट ऑल, बट यू विल ऑटोमेटिकली अंडरस्टैंड अंडरफिटिंग एंड ओवरफिटिंग बिकॉज ऑफ दैट एग्जाम्पल. You all must have at least buyed some dress or stitched some dress at a point in time, correct? You buy clothes for yourself, right? When you're buying clothes, do you buy the clothes that fit you perfectly? Never. What if you gain some weight in next 1 or 2 months? They'll be very tight fitting then? Yes or no? And do you buy the clothes which are very loose? No. You buy the clothes which have good enough amount of margin to it. Correct? So If your clothes are very perfectly fitting to you right now, kal jaake you gain some weight or anything, they will not fit you properly. If you buy too loose clothes, you know what happens, it doesn't look good on you. You need a dress that fits you perfectly. Are you getting the idea of just right fit? Yes. Now replace the concept of clothes with the concept of model and the data. Understood? Okay. Now you have something which is called as polynomial features. Now the polynomial formula looks something like this, which is on your screen. Okay, every one of you know what is the polynomial. What is the degree of this polynomial? Can you tell me? The degree of this polynomial is 2. Raised to 2 hai, correct? Now, polynomial feature extraction can use a change of polynomial formulas to create a hyperplane. What that hyperplane will do? That hyperplane will subdivide any data sets into correct cluster groups. Okay? Higher the polynomial complexity, the more precise the result that can be achieved. So, जितना high degree of polynomial होगा, उतना आपको results अच्छा मिलेगा. Okay? This is again a program. The method to look for is something which is called as LINSPACE. Anyone knows the meaning of this method? Have you guys used this method anytime? So it is used to generate numbers between a certain interval. So here that interval is 0 to 10 and 100 numbers will be generated. Okay, sort you already know. And then you're plotting it. You're creating a polynomial. Okay. The next one is common data fitting issues. These higher order polynomial formulas are however more prone to overfitting, while low order formulas are likely to underfit. See, I already told you that if the formulas are higher order, then they are complicated. But उनका accuracy ज़्यादा होता है, but कभी-कभी इतना ज़्यादा हो जाता है कि वो overfitting के category में आ जाता है. Lower order formulas अगर consider किया मैंने, तो वो underfitting के category में आ जाता है. Okay? Now it is your duty as a data scientist to find a balance between these two extremes. आपको underfitting भी नहीं चाहिए, आपको overfitting भी नहीं चाहिए. You need a perfect fit. Okay? Again, I want you to go through this code. Okay? How will you go through this code? Every function that you see over here, are you able to see this? Every function that you see over here, you will quickly go and search. Python these are Python programs. I hope everyone knows that, correct? Yes? Everyone knows that, these are Python programs. You will go and you will search for the meaning of these functions. Okay, and then later on in our last lecture, as I told you, I'll take the concept of graph program also. So I'll explain you these programs also. But before that, I want you to revise on these functions and come. Is it possible? Yes. See, the only reason I am asking you to revise and come is very simple. If you revise and come, my explanation you will understand it better. Okay. Now, before I proceed, I want to ask you, how many of you know the concept of false positive, true positive? No one? Okay. Basically, there are 4 results. There are how many results? 4 results. Okay. Carefully see what I am drawing. You have something called as true positive. Okay. You have something called as false positive. You have something called as false negative. And you have something called as ट्रू नेगेटिव. अंडरस्टूड? नाम याद रख पाओगे? यस. ट्रू पॉजिटिव, false positive, false negative, true negative. Correct? So let us understand the meaning of this. Okay, सबसे पहले we will go with true positive. Okay, let's say that someone is really sick, someone is really sick, someone is really not well, and the system also predicts that this person is not well. Someone is really not well and the person also predicts that this person is not well. So it is considered as true positive. Assume the COVID test example. The person actually has COVID and the test also tells that the person has COVID. So it is true positive. Understood? Now let us understand true negative. The person does not have COVID. The person does not have COVID and the test also says that the person does not have COVID. So actual में भी person को COVID नहीं था and test ने भी same चीज बताया कि इस person को COVID नहीं है. So that is what is true negative. Okay. True positive and true negative. Is it very clear, guys? Yes, are you guys with me? Okay, अभी थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड पार्ट जाते हैं. अभी देखना है फॉल्स पॉजिटिव क्या है. ओके, फॉल्स मतलब क्या? नॉट करेक्ट ना. फॉल्स मतलब क्या? नॉट करेक्ट. करेक्ट. सो व्हाट इज फॉल्स पॉजिटिव? द पर्सन एक्चुअली डज नॉट हैव कोविड. द पर्सन एक्चुअली डज नॉट हैव COVID, but the test predicts that the person has COVID. So test ने गलती से predict किया कि the person is COVID positive. Test ने गलती से predict किया कि the person is COVID positive. Clear? इसीलिए कहा जाता है false positive. गलती से positive predict किया. Actual value क्या है? Negative. Actual value क्या है? Negative. गलती से पॉजिटिव प्रेडिक्ट किया. अंडरस्टूड? अभी फॉल्स नेगेटिव. अभी क्या? फॉल्स नेगेटिव. फॉल्स नेगेटिव मतलब गलती से नेगेटिव प्रेडिक्ट किया. नाउ आई एम आस्किंग यू अ क्वेश्चन. अगर गलती से नेगेटिव प्रेडिक्ट किया तो एक्चुअल वैल्यू क्या होना चाहिए? पॉजिटिव. परफेक्ट. एक्चुअल वैल्यू इज पॉजिटिव बट योर टेस्ट हैज प्रेडिक्टेड नेगेटिव. तो गलती से नेगेटिव प्रेडिक्ट किया. ओके, नाउ आई विल क्विकली रिपीट दिस. ओके, द एक्चुअल वैल्यू वाज पॉजिटिव, द टेस्ट आल्सो प्रेडिक्टेड इट इज पॉजिटिव. सो व्हाट इज इट? ट्रू पॉजिटिव. द एक्चुअल वैल्यू वाज नेगेटिव, द टेस्ट आल्सो सेड इट इज नेगेटिव. सो इट इज ट्रू नेगेटिव. ओके, द एक्चुअल वैल्यू वाज नेगेटिव. The actual value was negative, but the test predicted by mistake that it is positive. So गलती से positive predict किया. गलती से positive predict किया मतलब क्या हो जाता है? False positive. Everyone with me? अभी last. गलती से negative predict किया. The actual value is positive, but the predicted value is negative. Then it is false negative. Am I clear on this? Everyone with me? Okay. Now you must be wondering, why did I cover this right now? The reason I covered this right now is I need these concepts to explain you the concept of precision and recall. Are you guys very sure that all these 4 terms are very clear in your mind? You want me to revise it once again with another example? Okay, let us take cat and dog का example. किसका example? Cat and dog का example लेते हैं. Okay. पिक्चर था कैट का, किसका पिक्चर था? कैट का पिक्चर था। सिस्टम ने भी प्रेडिक्ट किया कि ये कैट ही है। सिस्टम ने क्या प्रेडिक्ट किया? दिस इज अ कैट, सो इट इज ट्रू पॉजिटिव। ओके, पिक्चर था डॉग का, तो सिस्टम ने भी प्रेडिक्ट किया कि ये कैट नहीं है। सिस्टम ने क्या प्रेडिक्ट किया? ये कैट नहीं है। पिक्चर डॉग का था ना, सिस्टम ने भी एग्जैक्टली करेक्ट प्रेडिक्ट किया कि दिस इज नॉट अ पिक्चर ऑफ कैट। ट्रू नेगेटिव, ट्रू नेगेटिव। अंडरस्टूड? यस। नाउ पिक्चर था डॉग का, पिक्चर किसका था? डॉग का पिक्चर था, एंड सिस्टम ने प्रेडिक्ट किया कि अरे ये तो कैट ही है, तो गलती ने उसको कैट बोल दिया। करेक्ट है वो कैट? नहीं, डॉग का पिक्चर था ना, बट सिस्टम ने गलती से उसको कैसे प्रेडिक्ट किया? कैट कह के, राइट? सो इट इज फॉल्स पॉजिटिव, इट इज फॉल्स पॉजिटिव। अभी फॉल्स नेगेटिव मतलब, फॉल्स नेगेटिव मतलब पिक्चर कैट का ही था, बट सिस्टम ने बोल दिया अरे ये तो कैट है ही नहीं। व्हाट डिड सिस्टम से? दिस इज नॉट अ कैट, so it is a false negative, it is a false negative. Am I very clear on this? Okay, now let us come back to our concepts. ठीक है? Precision recall is a useful measure for successfully predicting when the classes are extremely imbalanced. So whether you want to check how good your algorithm is, you will go ahead with the concepts of precision and recall. Okay, now precision is a measure of result relevancy, whereas recall is a measure of how many truly relevant results are returned. अभी ये दो statements पढ़ के शायद से आप लोगों को कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा, तो it is okay. Okay, once you see the formulas, you will be in a better position to understand these statements. So we will come back to these statements a little bit later on. There's a curve which is called as a precision recall curve. So the curve shows a trade-off between the precision and recall for different thresholds. If you change the thresholds in your algorithm, how the proportion of precision and recall is going to change. If there is a high area under the curve, it means that both recall as well as precision is high. Okay, recall is high as well as the precision is high. Whereas when high precision relates to low false positive rate, high recall relates to low false negative rate. Now, I want you to read this statement once again along with me very carefully. High precision relates to low false positive rate. So when the false positive is low, what is present? Precision is present. You are understanding? And when the false negative is low, what is low? False negative is low. What is present? Recall is present. You are understanding? Now, high scores for both, that is recall is also high and precision is also high, then it shows that the classifier is returning very accurate results, as well as it is returning a majority of all positive results, that is high recall. Okay, now a system with high recalls but low precision will return many results, but most of its predicted labels will be incorrect when compared to the training labels. So high recall but low precision मतलब it will return the results but वो results correct नहीं होंगे, मतलब predicted labels and the training labels will not match. A system with high precision but low recall is just the opposite. It will return very few results, but most of the predicted labels will be correct with the training labels. Okay, आपको दोनों situation नहीं चाहिए, एक high, एक low, you don't want. What you want both high. So precision should also be high and recall should also be high. So what is the formula for precision? The formula for precision is true positive divided by true positive plus false positive. In short, it is asking you what is the measure of result relevancy. आपको जितने भी results मिले हैं उसमें से कितने results relevant है. Relevant results कौन से हैं? True positive वाले. You are getting it? What does recall say? Recall is defined as number of true positives over the number of true positives plus false negatives. Okay? It is a measure of how many truly relevant results are returned. So, कितने ऐसे results हैं which are turned as positive and as compared to कितने ऐसे results हैं जो positive थे but गलती से negative बोले गए. False negative मतलब क्या? गलती से negative बोला गया था ना. Are you getting my point? है वो positive? How many truly relevant results are returned? All these are relevant results, but उसमें से कितना actually return हुआ है? Are you getting my point? Yes, no? You have to think very conceptually to understand this. Abhi, what is called as TNR, that is true negative rate. True negative rate is given as TN upon Tn plus Fp. Fp is nothing but false positive. Tn is nothing but true negative. Accuracy is given as true positive plus true negative divided by true positive plus false positive plus true negative plus false negative. Okay, you have to by heart these formulas. You have to by heart these formulas. Are you getting my point? Okay. Now going ahead with something that is called as sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity and specificity. It is a statistical measure of performance of a binary classification test. Okay, what do you mean by binary? 2. Binary means 2. 0 and 1 is binary. True and false is binary. Okay, it is also known as classification function. Now, what is the definition of sensitivity and what is the definition of specificity? Okay, we are going to consider this paragraph. I am literally going to read it as it is and then I will explain it to you. Okay, so सबसे पहले sensitivity. Sensitivity is also called as true positive rate or the recall or the probability of detection. It measures the proportion of positives that are correctly identified as such. Okay, अभी let's say मेरे sample में 100 ऐसे लोग थे. कितने ऐसे लोग थे जो पॉजिटिव थे? 100. उसमें से मेरे टेस्ट ने 80 लोगों को पॉजिटिव कहा. 80 लोगों को क्या कहा? पॉजिटिव कहा. एंड 20 लोगों को गलती से नेगेटिव कहा. गलती से क्या कहा? नेगेटिव कहा. तो व्हाट इज माय सेंसिटिविटी? 80 upon 100. What is my sensitivity? 80 upon 100. So it is 80%. My sensitivity of the test is 80%. Understood? Now, specificity is also called as true negative rate. It measures the proportion of negatives that are correctly identified as such. The percentage of healthy people who are correctly identified as not having the condition. So what does specificity tell you? Specificity tells you कि ऐसे कितने लोगों को आपने correctly negative label दिया है. You're getting it? So if there are 100 healthy people, how many healthy people are there? 100 healthy people, and my test has identified 70 of them as healthy. So it is 70 upon 100. It is 70 upon 100. Understanding? Now, we have something that is called as F1 measure. F1 measure combines the precision and recall in a harmonic mean of precision and recall. Okay, there is arithmetic mean and there is harmonic mean. Okay, after the lecture, just Google search on what is arithmetic mean and what is harmonic mean. You will get the answer. If you don't understand it, come back and ask me. Okay, so the F1 measure is given as 2 into P into R divided by P plus R. Okay, formula है, by heart करो. Fine. Now, these are the following functions that will allow you to calculate the precision score, the recall score, and the F1 score. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Yes. See, whatever definitions are there, they have to be written as it is. In fact, for that matter, the definition of precision and recall also has to be written as it is. Nowhere definitions or formulas you can change. Okay? Yes, it is better if you write, because even though it is given in round bracket, it is really important. They are telling you कि sensitivity को दूसरे कौन से नाम से बुलाया जाता है. Are you getting it? And here, what second place where it is what is given in the round bracket is an example. So it is always better when your definition follows an example. So in ideal situation, I will ask you to write everything that is there in round bracket as well. Okay? Yeah. Now we have a curve which is called as receiver operating characteristic, that is ROC analysis curve. Okay? Now this is a curve that will show the diagnostic ability of a binary classifier as its discrimination threshold is varied. So as I told you, as the threshold is changed, how the ability of the classifier goes up and down, ये दिखाने के लिए ये curve use किया जाता है. So ROC curve plots the true positive rate against the false positive rate at various threshold setting. Now we all know that true positive rate is nothing but sensitivity or recall or probability of detection. Okay, you will find the ROC analysis curves useful for evaluating whether your classification or the feature engineering is good enough to determine the value of insights you are trying to find. Okay, now you may not understand what this is trying to do exactly, but many times now we have to decide a boundary. So let's say that you're trying to find out whether a person is diabetic or the person is non-diabetic. So most probably you will calculate the HbA1c score, correct? So you have calculated the HbA1c score. What is the threshold between diabetic and non-diabetic? It is 6. 6 के नीचे है तो you say it is non-diabetic person. 6 के ऊपर है, then you say the person is diabetic. I'm giving you a random value. I don't recollect what is the real threshold in HbA1c test, but mostly it is like this. Okay, so basically ये threshold अगर मैंने ऊपर नीचे किया तो मेरा true positive and false positive rate में क्या difference आता है? Are you getting it? So when any research is conducted, these curves, they are plotted, and you know the data scientists, they will vary the threshold and they will see कि okay, ये threshold के लिए मुझे optimal results मिल रहा है, मेरे majority false positives अच्छे से classify हो रहे हैं, मेरे majority true positives अच्छे से classify हो रहे हैं. So my classifier is working very fine at this particular threshold, and then they fix a particular threshold for that particular test. Are you understanding? Yes? Guys, are you with me? Now the next one is cross validation test. It is a model validation technique for evaluating how the results of your statistic analysis will generalize to a independent data set. अभी इसका मतलब क्या है? आपने मॉडल को ट्रेन किया यूजिंग व्हाट? ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट. अभी ट्रेन तो हो गया मॉडल, बट व्हेन आई गिव द रियल वर्ल्ड डेटा टू माय मॉडल, हाउ वेल इट विल फंक्शन, I need to check that. So how well it will be able to predict my real world data. So when I'm giving it independent data sets जो training data sets से related नहीं है, फिर वो कैसे काम करेगा? ये अगर मुझे check करना है, then I perform something that what is called as cross validation. Okay. Again for the code, I'll request you for the same thing कि please go through it. If you have any doubt, I'll solve it. Or in the last lecture, as in how we have time, I'll cover these codes. Okay? Because these codes, they are absolutely not difficult. ठीक है? चलो. The next concepts that we are going to see is univariate analysis, then bivariate analysis, and then multivariate analysis. Okay? So let us start with univariate analysis. Uni means what? One. Variate means variable. So when I say univariate, it means one variable. So univariate analysis is the analysis where my data contains only one single variable. Okay, now this is the simplest form of analysis because you are just dealing with one quantity that is changing. Okay, we are not dealing with any relationships. So why are we doing this kind of analysis? We are doing this kind of analysis to describe the data and find the patterns that are existing within this type of analysis. Okay, so what is the example of univariate analysis? What can you see in this table? Which variable can you see in this table? Come on guys, are you attentive? Height. Can you see the heights of different people are recorded? Correct? Yes or no? Right. Now, in my class, there were 7 students and I have recorded the height of how many students? 7 students. So, what will I say? Ki is it a univariate analysis or it is a bivariate analysis? Uni or bi? Uni? Because only one variable is there. I am not checking whether it is causing any relationship or anything, nothing. I am studying only that single variable height. Now you will ask me कि univariate analysis में करना क्या है आगे? Height तो ले लिया ना लोगों से, अब क्या करोगे? You will calculate following things. See if you can remember whether I have taught you this or no. MEAN, mean, then median, then mode, then you will calculate the range, you will calculate the min value and the max value, you will calculate the quartiles, you will calculate the variance, you will calculate the standard deviation. You may showcase this data using frequency distribution tables, histograms, pie charts, frequency polygons, or even bar chart for that matter. Okay, so this is how you deal with univariate data. This is how you deal with univariate data. The next one is bivariate analysis. The next one is bivariate analysis. What is bivariate analysis? Bi means what? Bi means 2. Okay, bi means 2. So in this kind of analysis, I am dealing with 2 different variables and I am dealing with the causes. What causes the variables to go up and down? Is there any relationship between the 2 variables? If there is a relationship between the 2 variables, what kind of relationship is there between these 2 variables? Okay. So I am trying to predict all these things. So consider the table that is given. Now I am not going to tell you what is there in this table. You have to read the table and I want you to interpret this for me. Perfect. So सबसे पहले, is there a relationship? Yes. There is a direct relationship between the sales and the ice cream. Sales of the ice cream and the temperature. So the temperature is rising, the sale is also increasing. The temperature is decreasing, the sale is also decreasing. Understanding? Now, very often we plot these variables. One variable is plotted on x-axis, another variable is plotted on y-axis. Now, usually to describe these variables, sometimes we use the term as one of these variables is independent, another variable is dependent. Now, independent and dependent, ये आपको कैसे समझेगा इस particular example में? Which variable is independent, which variable is dependent? So, tell me one thing, do you have any control over the sun? Do you have any control over the weather? No. Okay. So, temperature, you don't have any control over it. So, this is an independent variable. It is an independent variable, also called as input variable or also called as explanatory variable. Also called as input variable or explanatory variable. Okay. Now, the sales of the ice cream are related to the changes in the temperature. Temperature बढ़ जाता है, ice cream का sales भी बढ़ता है. Temperature कम हो जाता है, ice cream का sales भी कम हो जाता है. Correct? So, the ice cream sales is an dependent variable. It is a variable that is dependent on the value of temperature. Also called as output variable. Also called as output variable. Am I clear on this concept of independent and dependent variable? Okay. अभी मल्टीवेरिएट एनालिसिस, मल्टी मीन्स व्हाट, मेनी. सर जब 3 से ज़्यादा वेरिएबल्स आपके पास होंगे देन इट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज मल्टीवेरिएट एनालिसिस. ओके, सो लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल an advertising company wants to compare the popularity of the 4 advertisements on the website. Okay, so how many advertisements are there? 4 advertisements are there, and they are trying to measure the click rates, means how many people have clicked on those 4 advertisements for both men as well as women. So they typically want to figure out those 4 advertisements, how popular they are with respect to men and with respect to women viewers. Are you understanding? Now, it is similar to bivariate analysis, but what is different? It contains more than one dependent variable. Okay, now some techniques that you can use for multivariate analysis may be regression analysis, path analysis, factor analysis, or multivariate analysis of variance, also called as MANOVA. Multivariate analysis of variance, also called as MANOVA. Everyone very clear with multivariate analysis? Okay. Now we will start with linear regression, the next.